Hey guys, Marissa at KitchenTableStamper.com. Today's project is this awesome window box gift box. Isn't this just so much fun? I'm in love with this window box Thinlits die set from Stampin' Up. Let's go through the supplies that you'll need to make this, shall we? All right, to make this box, you'll need the window box Thinlits dies, the Succulent Framelits dies. We're going to be using the dies that kind of stand alone here versus the dies that coordinate with the stamp set. So you'll need those dies. And the stamp set that I'm using with the Succulent Framelits this time is Endless Thanks. Some of these fun mix and match greetings fit nicely in this window box tag. So we're going to go ahead and use Endless Thanks with this today. Stampin' pad is soft suede today. That's all you need. And for your paper supplies, you'll need Tip Top Taupe, and you need a full sheet of Tip Top Taupe cut in half. I already did this part of the die cutting for you because it's just simple shape cutting, but what I found was the best way to get a box out of a sheet of cardstock and leave the most useful scraps was to take and lay the die on one half a sheet, top to bottom, with the tab all the way to the edge, and cut. And that will give you this piece with the tabs on, okay? The second half sheet, you're going to cut the other way. So you're gonna put the die so that it's centered between the score lines, and these tabs just get cut right off. You don't need them anyway, so why not leave yourself with the most useful and largest piece of scrap that you can get, okay? So you're gonna cut the second half of the box this way. So that'll give you this piece. And you'll notice how this piece has no tabs on the sides. Okay, so we've got one with tabs and one without. Now we're going to do some of the more interesting and a little bit more tricky die cutting on film here. We're going to cut these windows into the side and to the top. Let's get the big shot and get started. Okay, I've got the big shot here and I've got my two pieces. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is cut in some windows. Got my window box Thinlits here, and I've got this piece that has the tabs still on it. We're gonna take this pretty little floral filigree die and we're gonna center it on the lid of the box. Then we're gonna take this fun little piece with the polka dots and we're gonna put that right here in one of these panels. You might have noticed that my box only had cutouts on every other side panel. So we'll need to pick up this die and move it over, center it into this panel. Next, I'm going to bring my die brush in here. I'm just going to lift up this cutout, pop it right on top of the pad, and get the rest of these little bits out. Okay, I've brushed all of those out. Let's get these little polka dots. I'm going to put the die on the mat for just a minute and brush it. I want to get all the little Tip Top Taupe polka dots out of the die so it cuts clean for the last window we need to, or for the last panel we need to cut. Okay, I think we got it now. Now we have our bit of the box that has the tabs cut off. And in that one, we're just going to cut a window right in the center panel here. That'll give us alternating decorative sides. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've die brushed that last little window shape, and these are the parts that we need to build our box. I've also gone ahead and done a little bit more die cutting for you, so you don't have to watch that in the video. I cut each of the layers, the succulent plant from Old Olive. These can be cut from a piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 Old Olive. To keep the inside of the box tidy, I've got a 2 by 2 scalloped circle of Old Olive. I have a tiny little tag cut from Very Vanilla. This is about a 1 1/4 by 1 3/4 piece of vanilla that I cut that from. And then you'll need some Calypso coral. About a 2 by 4 piece will give you all of the flower layers. All right, so all that die cutting is done. Then let's get assembling. For my succulent, I went ahead and rolled up all of the leaves with my bone folder. You can tug on these just a little bit. They're pretty strong. You don't want to pull so hard that you pull a petal off, because then you gotta go back to the machine and die cut. You can roll this up as tight as you want, or you can leave it nice and open. That's up to you. But you'll want to do that to all 3 parts. Okay, so all of my Old Olive pieces have been curled. We're gonna do the Calypso coral pieces now. These are far more delicate than the Old Olive pieces, so you really want to be very gentle as you roll each petal softly across the bone folder. If you pull too hard, this little thin area here will give and you'll tear the petal off. So just take your time and roll each of those little petals. Okay, so I like the shape of all of my layers now. Let's get some assembling. What you want to do is put a dimensional in the center of your largest succulent, and then you're going to adhere this middle size, and then another dimensional in the center of that middle size succulent, and add your smallest succulent. There you go. And then a little piece of dimensional in the center of the small one. And you'll add your first flower. And then in the center of the first flower, we're going to switch to the multi-purpose liquid glue. And then layer your very smallest little flower in there. All right, so there's our little succulent. Now we'll let that dry for a minute while we assemble the box. I want to work all the score lines. Okay, so I've worked all my score lines sufficiently. Now I'm going to add a red line adhesive. Why a red line? Because it holds tight, but mostly so that you can see in one visual, just in one look, where all the adhesive goes on this box in order to put it together. So let me add the red line adhesive, and then I'll cut back in and show you where all the adhesive goes for this box to come together quickly and easily. So I'm back now with both parts, and I've put the red line adhesive on. And the reason for the red line, yes, you can use this multi-purpose liquid. You could probably use the tear and tape just fine. Fast fuse, whatever you're comfortable with works. I've got the red line adhesive because I want to take a quick still shot of this, and I wanted to show you all in one visual where the adhesive goes. So you can see we've got red line tape on these 3 tabs, not on these 3 tabs. We've got red line adhesive on these bottom tabs, not on these bottom tabs. Okay, we've got red line adhesive on our side tabs, and these tabs are gone completely. We didn't even die cut them. All right. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is remove the adhesive from the top flap of this little guy who has no side tabs. And we'll go ahead and adhere that. We'll make one piece. All right. Now the next thing that I found to be helpful is to remove these two here and these two here. So if you were working with like a multi-purpose liquid, you would add adhesive a couple of tabs at a time. So these 4 would be your next tabs. And then you're going to fold these tabs in and this one up. And you're going to make the side of your box. Now you've got the front of your box built. Pretty cool, huh? All right, you took these 2 off also at the same time. And you're going to go ahead and build the bottom of your box there. You can add a little liquid here or remove the tab at this point. Seal up the corner of your box. And then the same over here. Fold this guy in. Adhere to the bottom. Add a little liquid or remove your release paper here. And then make this corner secure. Now these tabs fold in with no adhesive. These fold in with no adhesive. And so does this. Now, you look and see. Each of these little tabs inserts into its proper place. And there's your box. Pretty cute, huh? Let's embellish it now. All right, so we've got our succulent plant here, and it should be good and dry at this point. Let's embellish the center. There I have these metallic enamel shapes. Love these. We've got some silver and gold. I'm gonna grab a gold one and decorate the center of my flower. The next little bit of embellishment here, I haven't gotten to this yet. Look at this beautiful ribbon. This is the metallic ribbon combo. This is free product. You can get this when you buy the window box and the succulents dies. So you want to make this project, buy those succulents, buy the window box, get the ribbon for free. It's a beautiful, soft ribbon with metallic fiber. It ties gorgeous. It's nice and soft. There's no stiffness to it at all. What we're gonna do here is pull off a length to wrap our box. It doesn't have to be perfect right now. I just wanna get a nice length of it. Let's see what that turned out to be. I'll let you know, shall we? 14, about 23 inches is what I've got here. All right, so we want to leave a nice tab off the front so that we can tie a bow. And we're going to tie our bow right about there. And why this is important, we need nice tails left for tying the bow. But what I did was I grabbed my little succulent, turned it upside down, and I added a strip of dimensionals. You know how sometimes they'll come off in 2 or 3s? That's what we want here. We want several dimensionals right here on the bottom of this plant. And it looks like I'm gonna have about 4 of them on the bottom of here. I think I did like 3.5 on the other one. Okay, remove the adhesive. Now back to this box and the ribbon. We're making sure we have tails, bottom tails a little bit longer because it's coming up the side of the box. And we're going to sandwich the ribbon right in between. Flip open your box And now remember I told you we cut a scallop circle to keep the inside of the box nice and tidy. We're going to put just a little bit of fast fuse right on the center, and then where the adhesive is here, we're going to just match up with that adhesive. It'll make it nice and strong. If it shows through anywhere on the front, it's old olive, so it doesn't matter. You could stamp and put another sentiment in here if you wanted to. That would be great. It would be framed up real nice. But then when we close up our box, we're going to add a little tag that says "For You" to the front of this box here. So let's grab our tag and our Stampin' Pierce mat. I've got soft suede ink, the word "You." I'm gonna stamp right across the tag. And I got a tiny little "For You" stamp here. I'm gonna ink up just "For." Gonna tuck that into the right just above, making our own little 2-line greeting that says "For You." This little oval tag is part of the die set, the window box die set. Slide that onto our ribbon. Bring it up. What we'll do here is we'll tie under. Make sure that tag stays right at the edge there. Make a little loop and bring your ribbon up over top. That way your loops will be up and your tails will be down. Did you catch that? Rewind it if you didn't. It's the perfect bow every time. Okay, so we're gonna trim off the excess. And you want a little bit of excess with this ribbon because it does shred a bit if you try to thread it through. So cut off that shred. All right, so there are our sweet little succulent window box gift boxes. If you've got any questions about the window box or the succulents, if you need anything Stampin' Up, please feel free to email me, Marissa@kitchentablestamper.com. Thanks for watching.